So, reconciliation and account balances. This should be a pretty quick video. I just want to cover a couple of points here. So, when you first load in your accounts, it's going to load in a initial balance, a starting balance. So that's kind of your starting balance on the day that you upload or link the accounts. As you go through and add in transactions, it's essentially doing math to add or subtract from this original balance. If you come in here and add transactions, or there's duplicates, or it's in the wrong account or something along those lines, this balance will start to get off and it won't match up with your real account balance. This isn't connected to your account balance, it's connected to the transactions. So it will, like I said, start with the original balance, but from that point on it's addition and subtraction. If the addition and subtraction gets messed up, the balance will get messed up. You want these to be accurate. Ultimately, you should be able to get to the point where instead of kind of checking your account balances every day, this will show you your balance. These should be accurate and you'll know what you have available in your account. And you'll use this will just show you what's in the account, and you're going to use your budget to know what you have to spend, which again we're going to get into. But so in order to make sure that these balances are right on a periodic basis, you need to reconcile your accounts. Again, if you've used the check register in the past or are familiar with them, usually what you would do is in the past, if you use the check register and you were doing this manually, is you'd write a check, $100 to somebody, you give them the check for $100, you write the check in your paper check register in your checkbook and subtract it from your balance in your bank account. If that person takes 3 weeks to cash the check, you've already accounted for it in your check register. What you would need to do is you'd have to go back, let's say when you got your statement in the mail, and check all the transactions that came out and make sure that they actually cleared your bank and the ones that didn't clear your bank. So that's how you'd reconcile your paper register with your statement. And you do that, most people do it on a monthly basis. They get a statement on a monthly basis. This is roughly the same thing. It's just digital. You have a digital register that you're using here, and you have to match it up with your current balance in your real accounts to make sure that you've got the right transactions and you haven't misapplied to the wrong account or have duplicates. So the way that you would do that is, I would suggest doing this on a regular basis. I would make this part of your weekly review. It doesn't take long. The reason I would do it a little bit more frequently, weekly versus monthly, is if there is something that's wrong, it's easier to catch if you've only gone a week than if you go a whole month. If you go a week and it's off $25, it's easy to look back over the previous week and see, did I add something wrong? Is it in the wrong account? What's the problem? Why am I $25 off? Than it is to go a whole month and look back an entire month of transactions, which will be a lot. It adds up fast. It'll be 100 transactions that you have to go through. It's too difficult to go back through and try to fix that. So on a weekly basis, whenever you decide to do your weekly review, if you just come in here and click reconcile on your balance, it would pop up and say, is this your current account balance? So what you're going to do is you're going to compare this number here with what your current account balance is in your account. So you go and you check your account balance and make sure that this matches. As long as this matches your account balance, depending on the bank, there's pending transactions. Those won't count in here. You have to, depending on the bank, see if this matches up. But as long as this matches what your current balance is in your account, you would say yes, and you're done. You've reconciled. And what ends up happening is it adds a lock next to these transactions that these have been reconciled. Now I'm going to just undo this real quick. If I come back in here and I reconcile and it's asked if my balance is $296.03 and I say no, it's going to say, well, put in what your current account balance is. And let's say it was just $300 on the nose is my account balance actually at my bank. If I hit OK, it's going to come up and tell me there's a difference. You can go through your transactions and try to find what the difference is. If you don't know what it is, or you don't want to do it, if you're just reconciling and it's a whole month and you just can't seem to find it, if you hit continue, it will allow you to create an adjustment and finish your reconciliation. So what it would do is it's going to add in a $3.97 charge in this case, just to make sure that it's balanced between your YNAB accounts and your current bank account. Preferably, you want these to match, and you want to find, in this case, where $3.97 came from. So you want them to match. Like I said, if you do it on a regular basis, though, weekly, it's not hard to go back and see if there's something erroneous. If you're doing it on a weekly basis, chances are you're not going to have a lot of issues where it's out of balance, but it's easier to catch and it's easier to fix if it is. And you just have to go through each account and do this. So you'd have to reconcile each account individually, which is not hard if you've got 3, but if you've got 12, which I'll address later, you might think about paring some of those things down and trying to combine some of those things together just so there's not so many. Gets personal preference, but if you want to simplify your life, you can simplify the accounts too, kind of consolidate some of these things. Don't have 7 different credit cards and all these credit card points games that sometimes people play. I just don't think it's worth it, in my opinion. So narrowing these things down to you only have a few accounts will help with the reconciliation, but most importantly, just doing it on a semi-regular basis would help. I would suggest on a weekly basis. So that's it. See you in the next video. The budget's coming up next. So see you in the next video.